Sheila Johnson and every WNBA star should thank God every morning and every night for Caitlin Clark.
Skip Bayless just went ballistic on the WNBA, and all of Caitlin Clark's haters and the sports world is shook. The legendary journalist and commentator isn't holding back, calling out the bizarre responses to Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award.
Yet, here was her greatest achievement. The biggest reason she was chosen Athlete of the Year by Time, Caitlin Clark lifted the WNBA into the national consciousness, made it a thing for the first time. People everywhere were talking about the WNBA in ways they never did before.
Here's where it gets interesting. Once upon a time, Bayless was one of Clark's biggest critics. Yeah, that's right. So how did Bayless suddenly become one of Clark's staunchest supporters? And why is the WNBA acting like Clark's success is a problem? We'll answer those and more in this video. Are you ready? Let's go.
That skinny white girl was the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA. She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the entire league, the one you can't take your eyes off of.
Caitlin Clark's ascent to Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year for 2024 should have been a moment of celebration for women's basketball. Instead, it sparked a firestorm of controversy that's left the sports world reeling. You'd think everyone would be cheering for this historic moment, the first time a WNBA player has clinched this prestigious title. But no, some folks had other ideas. Enter Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics. She came out swinging, criticizing Time's decision in a way that caught everyone off guard.
Johnson said she did not agree with Time Magazine making Caitlin Clark the first ever WNBA player to be Athlete of the Year, and with putting Caitlin Clark on the cover. Johnson said the entire WNBA should have been chosen as the League of the Year and that numerous stars should have been put on the cover.
Johnson argued that singling out Clark was a mistake. In her view, the entire WNBA deserved this recognition, not just one player. She didn't stop there, though. Johnson went on to claim that focusing on Clark could create hard feelings among other players in the league.
She said the WNBA has a long legacy of black stars and that, and I quote, "Something clicked with the WNBA last year because of the draft. It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Reese," as in, of course, Chicago's Angel Reese. Johnson said, and I quote, "There's so much talent out there that's unrecognized, and I don't think we can pin it on just one player. When you single out one, it creates hard feelings," end of quote.
But wait, it gets even more complicated. Johnson took it even further, hinting at racial undertones in the situation. She expressed concern for players of color who she believes are equally talented but haven't received the same level of recognition. Johnson argued that the media's portrayal of race in sports was making this problem worse.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen.
Here's where things get really wild. Johnson's own team, the Mystics, has actually benefited from Clark's popularity. Games featuring Clark's team, the Fever, have seen record attendance. So Johnson's criticism seems to fly in the face of the very success her team is enjoying thanks to Clark's star power.
You ready for the ultimate irony about what Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark? Last season, for Caitlin Clark's 2 visits to Washington, the Mystics moved the games from their little home arena, which seats a little under 5,000, to the Wizards Arena, which officially seats 20,356. And thanks to Caitlin Clark, Sheila Johnson's Mystics drew the WNBA's biggest crowd of the year and the WNBA's 3rd biggest crowd of the year.
Bayless isn't known for pulling punches, and he certainly didn't hold back here.
So the Mystics went from about 5,000, averaging about 5,000 for all their other home games, to an average of 20,500 for the 2 Caitlin visits. What? I mean, Sheila Johnson should, I don't know, at least send Caitlin some flowers, because she never gives her any flowers in interviews for sure. But no way should Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark alone be on the cover of Time, or so Sheila indicated, and I say baloney to that.
Bayless didn't just disagree with Johnson. He went nuclear. He argued that Clark's impact on the WNBA's popularity has been nothing short of revolutionary. It's a stance that sent shockwaves through the basketball community.
Now allow me to tell you how I interpret everything Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark. Johnson is saying to me, the majority of WNBA players are black and have always been black, that basketball belongs more to black players than to white, and that it's not healthy for the league to have a white player featured as Athlete of the Year on the cover of Time. Now, I'm pretty sure if WNBA MVP Asia Wilson had made the cover of Time as Athlete of the Year, Johnson wouldn't have had any problem with that.
So how did we get here? How did a moment that should have been a triumph for women's basketball turn into this heated debate? And why is Skip Bayless, of all people, emerging as Caitlin Clark's most vocal defender? To understand that, we need to take a closer look at Bayless's journey from Clark skeptic to her most ardent supporter. Imagine feeling guilty for praising an exceptional athlete. That's exactly the dilemma Skip Bayless found himself in when it came to Caitlin Clark. But what sparked his dramatic change of heart? Skip Bayless, known for his bold opinions, initially approached Caitlin Clark with skepticism. He wasn't sure what to make of this rising star in women's basketball. But as he watched Clark play, something unexpected happened. Bayless couldn't deny her talent anymore.
And I started watching the WNBA much more closely than I ever had, and I started to think, deep down in my psyche, wait a second, she's really good. But I'll be the first to admit, I felt guilty saying so on TV or on social media. I did not want to look like this red state white guy cheering for this red state white girl. Our country feels split enough racially already. I didn't want to pour gasoline on that fire.
The sports commentator found himself in a tough spot. He knew Clark was incredible, but he hesitated to speak up. But as Clark continued to dominate on the court, Bayless couldn't stay silent anymore. He had a realization that changed everything. Are you ready to hear what Skip has to say? If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
She led the league in logo threes made, in part because she surely attempted the most very deep threes. No female player has ever been able to jump shoot from such distance, or even tried to.
That skinny white girl was the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA, Bayless declared. He saw beyond the racial discussion and recognized Clark's impact on the entire league.
Caitlin Clark's long-distance threes became the most exciting shot in the WNBA. Her spectacular passes became the most exciting plays in the WNBA. Now, yes, she shattered the WNBA's record for turnovers because she would try to pull off passes that were all but impossible. But at least, I don't know, once or twice a game, sometimes 3 or 4 times a game, she did pull off the near impossible.
Bayless's perspective shifted dramatically. He started seeing Clark as a game changer for women's basketball. She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the one you can't take your eyes off of, he said. This wasn't just about race anymore. It was about talent, entertainment, and growing the sport.
Yet she accomplished all of the above while occasionally being bullied and cheap-shotted by veteran players who clearly were jealous and resentful of the publicity she was generating. Not just generating about her, but for the league. Yet not once did Caitlin Clark complain about the bullying or the cheap-shotting. Not once did she say anything but the right thing about how black stars had built this league. Caitlin Clark just kept playing, kept getting better and better and better.
When Sheila Johnson criticized Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award, Bayless didn't hold back. He called Johnson's comments flat-out racist and argued they suggested the WNBA belongs only to black players.
Look, I'm going to be completely honest about this. I thought what Wizards owner Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark came off as racist.
Bayless saw this as a dangerous path. He stated,
but apparently Sheila Johnson believes the WNBA ultimately belongs only to black stars, that in the end, it's a black sport, and that the face of the league cannot be white. To me, that's flat out racist. To me, the one who is deepening the division of racism that could tear this league apart is Sheila Johnson.
Bayless went all in on defending Clark. He emphasized her massive impact on the WNBA's visibility, declaring, "Caitlin Clark lifted the WNBA into the national consciousness." For Bayless, it wasn't about race anymore. It was about recognizing exceptional talent and its power to elevate the entire sport. In a powerful statement, Bayless concluded, "She deserved Time's Athlete of the Year because she earned it." He called for focusing on skill and impact rather than race, saying, "Just give me the very best players playing at the highest levels regardless of color."
The men's game hasn't had a white American player anywhere close to Larry Bird since Larry Bird. But in this case, now the most exciting and entertaining player in women's basketball happens to be white. She deserved Time's Athlete of the Year because she earned it.
Bayless's journey from skeptic to supporter highlights the complex issues surrounding Clark's rise. It raises big questions about how we talk about race, talent, and recognition in sports. As the debate continues, one thing's clear. Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball is undeniable, and it's forcing everyone to confront some uncomfortable truths.
White people, black people, all kinds of people were talking about and watching women's basketball. The skinny white girl detonated all that. Yes, she brought a lot more white people through the turnstiles, but surely Sheila Johnson doesn't care what color her customers are, does she?
As the debate rages on, a different story emerges from the numbers. Just how much has the Caitlin Clark effect transformed the WNBA landscape? The answer might surprise even her staunchest critics. Let's talk about attendance. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, set a new WNBA single-season record with almost 350,000 fans packing into Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's not just a slight uptick. It's a seismic shift in fan engagement. People aren't just watching Clark play. They're showing up in droves to see her in action.
Caitlin Clark sells.
But Clark's impact goes way beyond just filling seats. On the court, she's rewriting the record books. In her rookie season, Clark averaged an eye-popping 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game, breaking 62 records along the way. That's right, in her first year, Clark's already making history.
An Indiana team that had gone 13-27 the year before she was drafted, of course, won 7 of its last 11 last season as Caitlin Clark actually rose from just the obvious Rookie of the Year into the MVP discussion as a rookie.
Her performance was so stellar that she became the first rookie since 2008 to earn a spot on the All-WNBA first team. And of course, she snagged the Rookie of the Year award. It's like Clark stepped onto the court and immediately started playing at a veteran level. The WNBA as a whole is riding this wave of excitement. Morning Consult named it the fastest-growing brand of 2024. Clark's influence is a big part of that growth. But here's where it gets complicated. Despite all this success, criticism from within the league persists. Some argue that Clark's popularity overshadows other talented players, especially veterans. It's a tension that can't be ignored.
The WNBA's Black Stars need to quit reading what a few nobodies say about them in social media comments.
Clark herself isn't shying away from these difficult conversations. In her Time interview, she addressed the issue head-on. It's a candid admission that shows Clark's awareness of the complex dynamics at play. She's not just breaking records. She's grappling with tough questions about race, recognition, and opportunity in professional sports.
The inference is always that Caitlin Clark caused this. No, all she caused was attention and drawing power that the WNBA did not have before she arrived. She did this as a minority member of the league, as a white player in a league that is majority black.
While Caitlin Clark's star continues to rise, a storm is brewing within the WNBA. The league finds itself at a crossroads, with players, coaches, and fans divided over Clark's meteoric ascent. It's not just about one player's success anymore. It's about the very future of women's basketball. Let's talk about the concerns some established WNBA stars are voicing. They're worried that Clark's popularity might overshadow their own hard-earned achievements. These players have been grinding for years, building the league's foundation. Now they're watching a rookie get all the attention. Can you blame them for feeling a little left out?
Just give me the very best players playing at the highest levels, regardless of color. I don't care.
But here's where it gets complicated. This isn't just about jealousy or hurt feelings. There's a racial element that can't be ignored. Now picture this: a league torn between celebrating its new superstar and addressing long-standing issues within the league. It's like walking a tightrope, and one wrong step could have serious consequences. If the WNBA doesn't handle this carefully, they risk alienating fans from all walks of life. Here's the thing: Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is undeniable. She's bringing in new fans, breaking records, and pushing the league into the national spotlight. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA has sparked both excitement and debate. Her impact on the game is undeniable, but it's also brought some tough conversations to the forefront. The league now faces a crucial moment. This isn't just about one player or one season. It's about the future of women's professional basketball. The WNBA needs to find a way to grow and evolve, based on a product that people would like to watch, not drama off the court. It's a tall order, but one that could define the league for years to come. So, what do you think? Can the WNBA rise to this challenge? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.